What's good, Panther Nation? It's your boy, Myron McRae, a.k.a. Tornado McRae across the skyways of the internet, here with another episode of Panther Pride TV. One-stop shop for all your Panther notifications and your Panther obligations. And happy Tuesday to all of y'all. Hope you were having a fantastic day. Hope your week's going smooth. Hope you got to enjoy your extra day off from work. If you had the day off yesterday, I did. I loved it. And I hope y'all did too. And you know what? That also makes this work week shorter. So, hey. Gotta love that anytime you can get it in. And kiddos, if you had a day off from school, hope you enjoyed that too. But guys, let's go ahead and get into today's docket as we have to do what everybody does, even though I don't like doing it because it feels so good to love a victory. But we got to start moving forward and looking at the next opponent the next week. And one thing I do want to talk about is the simple fact of the matter that Carolina looks to be gaining some key pieces coming back soon, man. Oh, hold up. There you go. There you go. But Carolina is looking to gain some key players and some key just assets, both on offense and defense, that will help us going forward. And when we look at the list of players that are set to return soon, you have Jalen Coker, you have Chuba Hubbard, you have Austin Corbett, you have Jatavian Sanders, and you have Tershawn Wharton, who are a number of players that Canales has said are set to probably return in the upcoming weeks, some as early as this week. Now, I'm going to be honest, and I saw an article that was talking about this on Panthers.com, and one highlight they were pointing to was Austin Corbett. I'm going to be frank with y'all. I do not want Austin Corbett coming back. I don't care if he's healthy. To me, the offensive line, communication, pulling, blocking, pass protection, everything has looked so much smoother with Cade Mays at center. We have rarely seen as many high snaps as we had with Corbett. We've rarely seen the miscommunication at the line as we did with Corbett. Mays has done a phenomenal job. Mind you, he also has Brady Christian, who's the backup right there. And just this past week, Neiman was on there because Moton was out the game. So we've been doing this essentially with 60% of our line as the backups, and it looked a whole lot better. Since Cade Mays has come back into the lineup, our offensive line has looked a lot better. Our offensive line has played a lot better. Our offensive line has blocked a lot better, both in the run and the pass, giving our running backs ample running lanes and giving our quarterback time to pass the ball and at least protection in a great pocket. So I do not want Austin Corbett to come back and be the starting center. It just wasn't working. It honestly wasn't. I was calling for Cade Mays to be the starter all throughout the offseason. Y'all know that. And when Corbett was listed as the starter, I was like, damn. Why, bro? Why? And it showed in the first two games that Corbett played. And then once Mays has come in, the offensive line has seemed to settle in and do its thing. So I really, as much as he's healthy, I really don't want Corbett to be inserted back into the starting rotation. I hope Canales does not do that. I'm really hoping so. But when I look at the rest of these guys, oh yeah, I want all these guys back. Jalen Coker, absolutely. Chuba Hubbard, duh. Jatavian Sanders, for sure. And Tershawn Wharton, no doubt, man. When I get all of them on the field at one time, oh, it's beautiful. It's poetry in motion, as the Hardy Boys would hit back in the ring, if you know. But when they're on the field, everything seems to flow better, look better, and it can help. However, the one person I don't think we need to bring back, and I don't want him back as the starter, is Austin Corbett. Especially because Bryce and Cade Mays have established a connection, have gotten in rhythm with one another. English, hard, stupid. But they've gotten to a rhythm. They've gotten into a flow. They know the cadences. They know their counts. They know where to snap the ball, how to snap it. And it's working. It's working. Like, think about it. The first 2 weeks, our offensive line looked sporadic. Looked like they couldn't block for the run. Looked like they couldn't block for the pass. High snaps were happening left and right. It just did not look great. And not only that, protection was not that great. But since Caden Mays has come in, everything just has seemed to flow better. Everything has seemed to open up, and it just seems like there's a whole lot more comfortability with that. So I'm looking forward to a number of these guys coming off injury, and I don't want Austin Corbett to be injured or hurt in any way, but I do not want him as the starter. If I'm being 100, I'm keeping it a buck with y'all. Y'all know that's what I do. It's what I'm going to do, man. So I think that's going to be kind of crazy looking back into it, but it's going to be interesting, especially considering, I don't know if y'all heard about what the numbers and the money lines are saying for us heading into this game. So crazy as it's kept, at one point, actually Vegas opened this game, opened the money line and opened the prediction of this game with the Jets in favor of winning this game over us.
Nani?
Yeah, and I got ESPN also opened predicting that the Jets would beat us and they were the favorites to win this game. And I got that for y'all. But let's just look at the numbers first when we just take a step back, man. All right, so we know what we've been doing. We've increased our points per game. Now we're at 22 points per game. Pass yards has gone up to 188.2. Rushing yard has gone up to 142.7, which is actually third best in the league right now. Hey, shout out to him. Like, third best in the league right now. We're actually second in total rushing yards, right behind Buffalo. We were sitting at first at 856 as I checked on ESPN, but Buffalo ran for 134 and they jumped up to 906, so that'll update, obviously. But now we're at 330.8 total yards per game. Our defense, 24.3 points per game, 213 pass yards per game, so they went up a little bit. Same with the points per game, went up a little bit. But rushing yards went down to 94.5, and actually total yards actually went down to 308.3. So I do like that. But on the other end, you look at the New York Jets, 20.5 points per game, 144.2 pass yards per game, 135 rushing yards per game. Okay, they're good on the rush. But 279.8 total yards per game.
Nani?
So the offense ain't looking too hot, especially if you watch that game they played this weekend. It was not looking good for them. And then their defense is their bread and butter, kind of like us. Like, their defense is their bread and butter a little bit. Well, actually, we're kind of getting more balanced, but beforehand, you would have said our defense was our bread and butter for sure. Either defense sitting there at 28.3 points per game. That's what they're giving up. They're giving up 200.5 yards in the pass, 130 rush yards per game, 330.5 total yards per game. So they're giving up what we go and get. Total points per game. We rush for 140. They give up 130. So sounds like it could bode well for us, man. And when I tell y'all this money line, I honestly, I'm still shocked because when I look at those numbers, I think to myself, how? Especially considering this is the same New York Jets team that lost 37-22 to the Dallas Cowboys team that we just beat. So how is this the case? And I promise y'all, I took the screenshots when I saw it. So on the left, this is ESPN's prediction as of Sunday night. When I saw it, I looked at the ESPN app and saw this because I was preparing for us to play the Jets and whatnot. And yes, they opened the Jets at 51% to us at 48.7, dog.
Nani?
Then they want to clean it up as of Monday night after the Atlanta game. I checked again just to see if it was still the same. And now all of a sudden it says 52.6% for Carolina, 47% for New York. So Don't play. Do not play my Panthers, ESPN. Don't do that. Don't do that. But also, Carolina, I got to let you know now. And I got to be honest, I got to be fair. Do not go out here and think this is going to be an easy win. Do not go out here and play like it is going to be an easy win. Play with the same fire, play with the same heart, play with the same intensity that you have played against Miami, that you have played against Dallas, that you have played against Atlanta. Play with that edge and that attitude and blow them out of the water. Because what I do not want for us and what nobody wants to be in any league is the team that lost to the team that was winless. Think about it. When we were 0-6 in 2023, nobody wanted to be the first team to lose to us. And we're talking about Carolina progressing and taking the right steps and building the foundation. Losing to this team is not that. That is not progress. That is not building on the foundation. That is no. We essentially cannot lose this game. To justify the talks that we've been having the last 2 weeks of like, oh, hey, Carolina is building something here, we cannot lose to a team that we're not supposed to lose to. We cannot lose to a winless team when we finally have our best start in 4 years. We cannot lose to a team that is struggling and their quarterback had negative 10 net passing yards this past weekend. Y'all thought Bryce Young was bad last year at the start of last season. Justin Fields had negative 10 net passing yards this past season. And I feel bad for Justin. I really do. Because Justin Fields ain't a bad kid. But, bro, I think they had 32 as a team total in their passing yards. Either way, Carolina, you can't lose to this team. But I'm going to be honest with you, bro. It's going to be a little bit hard because the past is coming to make sure we do not progress. And what do I mean? And what do I mean by the past, bro? Y'all should know. The Jets defense coordinator is our former head coach, Steve Wilks.
NANI?
We all know Steve. Steve can coach a defense. Steve can put together a good defense regardless. So that's going to be a problem. And Carolina offense, I'm telling you now, we got to come correct the same way we've come the last 2 weeks because that is going to be a problem. Even Coach Canales knows it, man. Because here's what he had to say in regards to Steve Wilks and his defenses. He said, it's an aggressive attack. Looking at the first couple of weeks and then looking at what they did last week, there's a little bit of change. So there's some variety, and I know he's got a lot more. I remember coaching against or being a part of staffs that went against Steve Wilks' defenses. The attacking style, the exotic pressures, and they had a lot more than what they were doing right now. There was a little bit of a shift, but this is a group that's salty. They run to the ball. They're a very aggressive group. They got a good front, and it's certainly going to be a good challenge for us this week. And I'm going to be honest with you, bro. Canales ain't lied. Canales ain't lied not one bit. Steve Wilks can coach a defense. Steve Wilks knows the attitude of Carolina, knows what Carolina's trying to do. Steve Wilks is going to want to prove a point. The same way Rico proved a point against Dallas, Steve's going to want to prove a point. So Coach Canales, Bryce Young, Rico Dowdle, Tedero McMillan, Xavier Legette, Jimmy Horn, Hunter Renfrow, Tommy Tremble, the entire offensive line, Bryson Tremaine, offense in general, Trevor Etienne too. I'm telling you now, y'all are going to have to come correct because Steve Wilks is going to dial up the pressure and he's going to make it hard. Steve Wilks is going to make it difficult. And if you can take out a Steve Wilks defense and beat them, I am confident against almost any defense you go up against in the league. I know I've been the one to be like praising the wins and things like that. If you can take out a Steve Wilks defense, I'm confident we can go against any defensive coordinator in the league because Steve Wilks ain't no slouch. And I just got to give credit where credit is due, man. We know what Steve can do, and I'm just hoping that they take this, especially the offense, take this seriously. Defense, honestly, I want this to be y'all field day, especially in pass coverage, bro. This is the game where y'all got to tighten up and lock down everything. Y'all got to figure out everything that you need to figure out and lock it down. Defensive front, this is the day y'all really should shine. Y'all been balling out already. This is the day y'all really should shine. So that's what I want from y'all, man. That's what I want. And honestly, speaking of the offense, for today's Panther Freeze Frame of the day, I had to pull one back from the game this weekend because I only do one of these a day. But Panther Freeze Frame of the day goes to Rico Dowdle shoveling and digging a grave for his opponents, man. I love when Rico Suave does this. It's just like, nope, let me go ahead and dig him a hole, put him in there, and whatnot. So dig it up. Dig it. I was starting to get holes every time Rico Dowdle starts scoring. Every time Rico Dowdle scores, I need them to play the Holes theme song because he's always dig. I love it. I need that. I need that in my life. I think that'd be fun. But with that being said, y'all know what time it is. It is time for Panther Nation to speak your truth. I get to read y'all comments. Y'all tell me how you're feeling, bro. And first comment comes from Zach Jones 8913. Zach says, Bryce hasn't really grown. The staff just changed the game plan to largely take the ball out of his hands. Since about the second quarter against Miami, they made him a game manager. His job is to hand the ball off and let our O-line eat and make a few throws when needed. That's why we ran it 38 times against Dallas. It was working and no need to ask Bryce to do more than he did. Zach, I don't mean this is disrespectful or any way, but I respectfully disagree. And I really think your take's invalid here because when we look at the running game and the rushing attack from this season so far, here's the thing, bro. We've rushed the same amount of time almost every game. We've had the same amount of rushing attempts almost every game. 32 rushing attempts versus Jacksonville, 19 versus Arizona, 30 rushing attempts versus Atlanta, 28 rushing attempts versus New England, 32 rushing attempts versus the Dolphins, and 38 rushing attempts versus Dallas. So that averages out to 29.83. Yes, I did the math. We have not taken the ball out of Bryce's hands any more than it already was. The difference has been Bryce has grown as a quarterback and knowing what to do. The offensive line have locked in terms of how to block and open up running lanes for the running backs. And also the play calling has changed up quite a bit in terms of where we're running the ball from. Because a lot of our runs were coming out of pistol and shotgun when recently in this 4 weeks, we've switched it up to more we're running out of single back first, then going to the shotgun, then going to the pistol. Like most of our runs are coming out of that single back formation, which also opens up the play action. That's really where we've changed it. We haven't changed how many times we take the ball out of Bryce's hands. We've just changed up We've just changed up what formation we're going to run out of. And not only that, Bryce has grown as a quarterback because he's not turning the ball over like that anymore. He's knowing when he can take the run, when to make the check down, and when to throw it away. Like, he's not giving the ball away. He's not doing that. So I don't agree with that statement, especially when our rushing attack number is still in the same range, 30 touches a game. We're still doing that. And also, in a weird way, Rico being the lead back and not splitting the numbers with Chuba has kind of helped with that rushing attack because Rico knows he's getting the ball. But I think once Chuba comes back, Canales is going to know he can do that single back formation with Rico or Chuba. I think he's finally figured out what's the best formation for his running backs this year, and is that single back formation, and Chuba will eat out of that formation just like Rico does. But I just don't agree with that statement, especially when the numbers say that we're still handing the ball off at the same rate. It's not more or less. Yeah, we gave it more to Rico for Dallas, but as it's shown, 32, 19, 30, 28, 32. Still the same. You know what I'm saying? But what has changed? Bryce was turning the ball over in Jacksonville. Bryce was turning the ball over in Arizona. Atlanta, he didn't. It's like the Dolphins, he did early, but he got it back right and learned from his mistakes. New England was just a crapshoot, bro. And then Dallas, same thing. He made the right plays when he needed to make them. So he's growing as a quarterback. Next comment comes from Benaya's podcast. Man said, "What's good, man? I hope you're doing good. Like I mentioned in one of the videos, I knew that Carolina was going to win. Always know, keep pounding. P.S. I went to the game, and it was a wonderful experience." Man, I am so happy you got to go to the game and experience that firsthand. Hope you had a blast. I'm glad you had a blast. Glad you got to see a win in person. Hey, it's always good to see it in person, boy. I know that's for sure. And then lastly, comes from Mr. Gatman and Robin. He says, "Let Chuba and Rico start a D'Angelo and Stewart 2.0 situation. Give Bryce the consistently improving O-line, consistent hands by his receivers, and a good run game, and the man is going to give you amazing football in return. Need to shore up the defense a bit, but they are doing really well so far." Absolutely. So you give Bryce those things, Bryce can look phenomenal. And some people are going to be like, "Oh, of course." It's like, yeah, because it's a team game. And I did see somebody else mention in the comment section about pass rush and whatnot, pass coverage. And I said in the last video, it was like, yo, we need to short the pass coverage. And they said pass coverage is the only thing we need. We need pass rush too to get sacks, because that is true. I include pass rush in pass coverage to me, because to me, it's like, all right, we're in pass coverage. The whole goal is to get pressure on the quarterback and make it harder for him to make these passes. I don't anticipate our pass coverage being great if we can't pressure the quarterback. So yeah, you are right into that regard. I just always include the pass rush attack in pass coverage, because we don't get pressure on the QBs, or we don't get sacked. Now we're leaving our DBs in bad situations, and some of these DBs, I expect them to still be able to hold water, but yes, that does put them in bad situations. So 100% agree there. However, guys, that is it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell at the bottom so you can always be notified of when these videos are dropping. Next, comment below. Let me know, man. Who are you most excited to see return from IR? Do y'all agree that we should keep Cade Mays as a starter, or should we go back to Austin Corbett? 2, how do you feel knowing that Vegas and ESPN opened the money line and the prediction with us being the underdogs to the winless Jets? And 3, do y'all think us facing Steve Wilks over on the defensive side, is that going to be a huge problem for us, or does that actually bode to be kind of an advantage because we know how Steve gets down. Let me know in the comment section below because at the end of the day, what do I know? I'm just a skinny brother with 2 tats. Peace. Mother to all you Panther Nation. Take care. Later days. And as always, keep pounding. I'll see y'all next time.